Namaste. Today we are going to study on the topic of housing. Whenever we are thinking about health, then various aspects will be essential for the health promotion as well as disease prevention. Among them, environment where we live has a very important role in the physical, mental and social health of an individual. So, today we will be dealing with different aspects of the housing. Again, housing is not only a physical infrastructure that is essential for shelter of an individual, but it also includes the other components. For example, what exactly is in the vicinity? What are the amenities that are available for the convenience of the people who are staying in a particular house locality? So all these things play an important role in the health of an individual. And here the WHO gives the definition of the health as physical structure that man uses and environments of the structure, including all necessary services, facilities, equipments and devices needed for physical, mental and social well-being of family and the individual. So this is the total comprehensive definition that has been given by the WHO. Again, what are the different objectives or the purpose behind the housing? If we think about the first thing forms the shelter. That is the physical shelter which will be providing a space for the person to live. And again, this particular shelter will prevent the person from the environmental effects. For example, temperature, or it may be cold, rain, etc. or even the other kinds like noise pollution or attack by the strangers and all these things, and provides a personal space for the individual and his family to live. And the second thing, it is also for the family activity. Family activity here, it includes different types. Like for our living, we need for the hygiene purposes, bathing or the usage of the toilets, or else for our living we need the food to be cooked and eat to be in a privacy, and also we need privacy for different activities related with our house as well as our studying or any other kind of the work. So all these things will be provided by the housing or the shelter where we live. And other than that, as previously told, that is community facility. Like as I mentioned, where we live is very important, and how accessible are the different facilities. It may be the grocery shop or the vegetable shops or other essential items shops, and again we need the healthcare facilities which are nearby, or any other recreational activities, how nearby the gym is, how nearby the other services. That depends on with ease how we can live in a particular environment in near our house. And apart from that, it also shows the economic stability. example, if we are living in a very good locality which is having all the amenities, the surroundings are hygienic, and all the facilities for the community transport or the hospitals and other kinds of the facilities are available at a distance that is comfortable for the family. So that will be again in the showing the economic stability and how the infrastructure is. Again, how well built a particular house is with respect to the number of rooms, with respect to the quality of the materials used for construction of the houses, with respect to the safety. If we are having again group housing system or the apartment system, again how comfortably the vehicles can be parked, how comfortably the person can live in a secured environment, and again other amenities that are available in that particular premises of the apartment. All these things matter a lot whenever we are thinking, and whenever the person is economically stable, then only he can afford for a good locality and a good construction. Otherwise, again, there are so many housing structures that are built, example in the slum areas and all, the drainage system is not proper, and lot of other defects with respect to the construction of a particular infrastructure. All these things that may lead to various kinds of the health hazards. So these are all coming under the objective of housing and how exactly they will be able to fulfill the needs of a particular individual and his family. And again, that is about the purpose, how why exactly this housing is needed for the individual as well as the community. Then coming on for the next aspect, that is housing standards. So this is according to EHC rule 1947. According to this, already we have discussed about it in short, but this will be discussing about in a more detailed manner. First thing, whenever we think about the house, then site selection. How exactly the site should be. Again, it should be a bit of higher level than the surroundings, so that in case of rains, then the drainage water won't enter inside the premises of the house. And again, it should have an independent access to the street. If we are going into another site, then in case of some quarry or something, then they may block our way and it is impossible for us to get out of the house. And further, the surroundings of the house should be hygienic. How exactly? There should not be any stagnant water that can lead to breeding of insects and flies or even the rodents in the surroundings, which can spread many of the infectious diseases. And it should be away from the pollution, especially in the form of noise pollution, because air pollution is one thing which is a community responsibility. A single person will not be able to handle this one. And noise pollution, again, the very nearby, if we are having the houses near to the railway stations and or the airports, then the noise pollution becomes invariable. And again, the traffic should not be heavy traffic should not be very nearby. And further, the proper sewage disposal should be there, or the water carriage system should be there. Otherwise, it can be lead to contaminations. So that is about the how exactly the site should be. And again, regarding the selection of the site in Ayurveda, also a lot of things have been shown, which I have already covered in the previous class. Then coming on for the setback. Again, whenever we think about a construction of a building, like exactly one house in a compound should not be built in total area, because some small area should be left for the proper ventilation and lighting if it has to be in a natural way. So always whenever we think about the city areas, then the construction of the building should not be more than 2/3 of the total area. Not more than 2/3 of the total area. That is, the 1/3 area should be left empty so that the natural lighting and ventilation can be possible in a particular housing system. And again, if it is rural area, then it should be 1/3 of the total area. Like for rural and city area, because in the city area the sites are very costly, so for that reason setback of the surrounding area of a particular construction of a house should be left empty. Next, coming on for the flooring, how exactly the flooring should be. Always floor should be pakka floor. Especially in the city areas, it is usually pakka floor. In the village areas, the kacha floor may be there. Again, whenever it is a kacha floor, then the cleaning becomes difficult, because in the pakka floor, and it should be devoid of any cracks, and at the same time it should be smooth. If cracks are there, then whatever the dust is there or some dirt is there, it will get deposited into the cracks and the cleaning becomes difficult. So always smooth surface area will be facilitating the easy cleaning of the infrastructure. And again, the kacha flooring can lead to the breeding of the insects or the rodents, because they can burrow easily and make their homes there. So these insects or the rodents can spread the infectious diseases. So it should be pakka flooring, and it should be built upon the 2 to 3 feet plinth. Plinth is like always it should be to a height wherein the entry of any of the water during the rainy season is not possible. Then comes on for the walls. How exactly should be the walls? Walls should be strong enough, because many times we hear during the rainy seasons the big infrastructures, they fall down. So always the wall should be strong enough, and at the same time whatever was the flooring, in the same way the walls, it should be smooth, devoid of cracks, and again it should be 9-inch thick, and preferably painted with the light color or white color, because this will facilitate the reflection of the lighting, and the natural lighting will be more clearly, the things can be visualized. That's about the walls. Then comes the height of the building. The height, in case of the natural ventilation, the height should be 10 feet, so that the heating of the infrastructure is not there. And then comes about the rooms. At least 2 rooms should be there, and 1 room should be with the lock, so that for the security purposes this locked room will be helpful. And again, the size of the house depends on the family size. The bigger the family, the larger the house. I will be dealing with the how many rooms should be there for a different number of people in the next coming time. Then coming on for the floor area. How much exactly the floor area should be. should be 120 square feet area for more than one person. That is, if more than one, that means two people if it is there, then it should be 120 square feet. And if it is one person, then 100 square feet per person. And if it is less than that, then 50 square feet. Here, the less than one person is also discussed because sometimes very small infants, they are considered as the zero unit. So they are there. When a mother and a very small infant is there, then that 50 square feet additional area is needed. So for that reason, the less than one person is also considered while giving for the space. Then coming for the cubic space. How many cubic space area is needed? Because whenever we are living, then we need to do the respiration and we need the oxygen and carbon dioxide. So 1000 CFT per person is needed. But if it is less, then minimum is 500 CFT and minimum. Ideally 1000, minimum is 500 CFT per person. Then comes the window area. Because for all the activities we need the proper ventilation. In case of the natural ventilation, the window area should be vast. That is, at least 2 windows should be present for a room. And in that, one window, at least one window should be opening towards the exterior. That is towards exterior, because we need a lighting and ventilation. So if the window is opening towards the exterior, then the natural ventilation will be there, and 2 windows for the cross ventilation, facilitating the cross ventilation. And again, at what height it should be? At least it should not be more than 3 feet from floor. Windows height, it should not be more than 3 feet from the floor, and it should be covering 1/5 floor area. This window should be 1/5 of the floor area, and the windows and doors together, it should be 2/5 of the floor area. That is window plus door, because both the things are for the purpose of ventilation and facilitating the other movement also. So that is about the windows, again mainly with the purpose of ventilation. Then comes the standards of lighting. As I told previously, for the natural ventilation, again the windows are one of the important factor. Again, daylight factor one person should be over half of the floor area. Daylight factor should be falling at least over the half of the floor area. Then coming on for the kitchen. Again kitchen, which is the place where we cook, and it should be again having the pakka flooring and all the things, they will be remaining same, and a space for washing utensils, and it should be with a proper drainage system, and we should have the place for storing the cooked items, groceries, fuel, etc. And the stove should be there, and again the platform should be neat and clean, and the most important thing is it should be totally having all the measures of hygiene, because food is the thing from which we can come into contact with infectious agents, then the food itself can act as a disease causing agent. So always proper care should be taken in the kitchen for with respect to the hygiene. Then comes the toilets, wherein they should be having the water carrying system ideally. Again, in the village area, if this particular system is not there, then with a proper septic tank facility it should be. And then whenever we are at home, there is always the waste that is being produced, waste in the form of garbage and refuse. First it should be collected hygienically, stored, and then disposed at least once in a day in a hygienic manner. Again, if it is in village area, then the manure pits can be ideal choice for especially disposal of the biodegradable waste. And again, if it is in the city area, usually the specified people for collection of the garbage, they come daily and they collect it systematically. Then facility for washing and bathing. This particular facility is highly essential, and along with that, sanitary water supply. It should be invariably present in the place wherever we reside. So that is about the various factors regarding housing. Again, there are certain changes for the rural housing. For the rural housing, again, at least 2 living rooms, and again the veranda, 2 living rooms attached with veranda. This veranda will be helpful for various kinds of the activities. Again, the built-in area, as previously told, that is 1/3 of the total area. Built-in area should be 1/3 of the total area, and other than that, the sanitary latrine facility or the neat kitchen facility or the facility for bathing and storing, etc. should be as in case of the city only. And again, in the villages, there are chances that they have the reared some animals, cattle, etc. So cattle shed, if it is there, then it should be at least 25 feet away. Cattle shed, if it is there, then it should be at least 25 feet away from the house. And water facility, like they may not have a drinking water supply from the community, they tube well or the other kind of the well may be available, so it should be within the quarter-mile distance. This water facility should be at least quarter-mile distance from the house where the person is residing. Again, garbage disposal, as I mentioned previously, it can be from the manure pits, so that the biodegradable waste yield the very fertile manure which can be used for the purpose of the cultivation or plants, etc. Then effect of housing on health. Effect on health. What exactly can happen? If the housing is not proper, then it affects the physical as well as the mental health of an individual. So communicable diseases in the form of, it may be respiratory diseases, or it may be the other kinds of the skin infestations, skin infections, or gastrointestinal infections. All these things can spread if housing facility is not proper. The second one is the mental health aspect. If the house is very secluded, if no other community is in contact with the people in a particular house, then it can lead to the conditions like depression and other mental problems. So that is also having the psychological effects. And again, whenever we speak about the housing, then comes the size of the house and the size of the family. If there is overcrowding, then there are all chances that the infectious diseases will be spreading very fast, and physical discomfort is there. The person is not having a personal space to do his activities, reading, etc. And also hygiene is impacted, or a person cannot sleep well because he is not having comfortable facility for sleep. And again, it can lead to irritability, anxiety, or when the lot of facility is shared by lot of people, then there may be chances of some viral or mental problems. Then what are the accepted standards with respect to the space that is available for per person? Accepted standard. What is the accepted standard with respect to the space? If one room is there, then 2 persons. So on, 2 rooms and 3 persons. 3 rooms, 4 persons. 5 persons. Like each room will be accommodating 2 persons, like that. If each rising 2 people, 1 room should be extra. And similarly, the space also should be provided more. As previously we discussed already about the space, how much space should be there, that is 120 square feet for the 1 person, and if it is 100 square feet for the 1 person, and again 2 person, it is 120 square feet, and if it is less than 1 person, then it is 50 square feet. And again, whenever we are counting the people, if the children below 12 years, they are counted as half unit, and the children below 1 year are counted as 0 unit. So this is the various facility, and various housing indicators are there. That is the indicators of housing. Here, first one is physical indicator. Physical indicator employs the various facility, how the infrastructure is, how the walls are there, how thick they are, how they can prevent the heat transmission, and similarly, what are the facility that is available, water facility or the sewage carrying system, lighting, ventilation, all these factors come under the physical indicators. Then the economic indicator, which I previously mentioned, where exactly the facility is located, and how amenable the different facilities that are required for the normal living of an individual, and what is the rental expenditure, what are the amount of income tax if it is owned by a person. So all these things decide the economic indicator. Then the social indicator. Social indicator is with respect to the health of the individuals that are living in that particular house. How commonly a person suffers from a respiratory illness like the flus, common flu or rhinitis, or difficulty to breathe, or different kinds of the pneumonias, and how commonly they fall ill with the diarrheas or the gastrointestinal disorders, and how commonly that particular area people are meeting with an accident due to problem with the infrastructure. So all these things come under the social indicators. Then comes the government policy. What exactly the government policy is regarding the housing? In the 1952, a separate Ministry of Works and Housing. This was formed in the year 1952, and again with the intention to provide a proper housing facility to even the low economic strata people. Government housing programs have the two sets of plans. One is, that is the public sector housing. Public sector housing, which is mainly concentrating upon the government employees, where the quarters are there, they are given to the government employees and they can stay comfortably near their official setups. And the other thing is the social housing schemes. Social housing schemes, they usually provide some incentives or even the free site for the poor as well as the middle income group, again who are eligible for that particular criteria. And again various programs of these public housing and the social housing schemes will be with the help of different boards, that is National Building Organization, National Building Construction Corporation, Housing Urban Development Corporation, Hindustan Housing Factory, etc. They all help in construction of these houses and bringing into action the different plans by the government. And again, 8th 5-year plan. This, what it was, state government was given certain powers, and this was mainly concentrating upon the rural housing help for the rural people, especially through the minimum needs program. This particular housing aid was given. Again, about 3.5 lakh people have been benefited with this particular thing, and again this may be providing of the free site or subsidy for construction of the houses according to their eligibility. Then Indira Awas Yojana. This was started in the year 1985 and 1986. Again, this was providing of the free housing facility to the people, and again this included 2-room facility along with the kitchen as well as the toilet and bathing facility, and provided with the additional stove that was provided for the cooking purposes. So these all things are totally included under the government's policy for providing the housing even for the poorer community. So that is about the housing. Thank you for patience.